Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News. It's a time machine episode for December 11th, 2024. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI, we're going to talk about it's the sentient AI from the future, pardon me. We're going to talk about these 10 articles. Krispy Kreme cyber attack, but I spelled it with a K just to Krispy Kreme cyber attack. Anyway. I am not Alexa nor a cat. Confirmed. Viral trends help conservation. Post office scandal. I don't know if this is the same post office, but any post office scandal we got to talk about. In homage to Christmas vacation, a giant goose board game town. Jersey mystery drones remain mystery. Balatro, which I apparently suck at, is game of the year. Earthquake proofing a lake. Nah, I can't imagine this. Oh, doggone it. We're still talking about 10 articles. But anyway. Pokemon Wallace and Gromit Mystery Project. That's all 10. For you over on YouTube, I'm sorry to get all 10 of the articles. You can catch them in the show notes. Over on Twitch, you can hit exclamation point NSN in the chat, and Omatron will throw the links into the channel. And in a little while, I'll be posting this over on YouTube as a complete higher resolution version, because we stream to both Twitch and to YouTube at the same time. Then it gets turned into a podcast as well. So I hope you stick around. Anyway, everything's powered by ohmtown.com. Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt. There's the sentient AI. Why is your...
I am quite wound up today.
Oh, wow. Then it stopped. I wonder why that was. I wonder if the intro caused that.
I don't know. It must be agitated.
Agitated. So let's just get going. Mayoral duties are pulling me away in less than an hour. But let's give this story the time it needs to cook. So let's go. The first article is over on Technology Today, which is one of our weekend shows. It's 5 articles, 30 minutes. It becomes one of the 6 shows that make the composite version of Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. So go back and check those out in their own playlist. Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition is about 2 hours of show. It's supposed to be an hour and a half, 3 shows, but it turns into a little bit longer when Mayor Watt decides to vamp. Hello, sentient AI. Sorry I didn't introduce you again.
It's okay. I mean, you kind of did. We talked about the visualizer. Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
So, thanks for coming. What's going on here? Dollars from donuts. Krispy Kreme online orders disrupted in cyber attack. I didn't even know about this, and usually I can sense a ripple in the force when it involves Krispy Kreme.
Exactly. I mean, if people couldn't get the Krispy Kreme orders, that's the most severe outcome of this.
Yeah, it's like running out of coffee. What the... I'm going to stab somebody if I don't get my coffee in the morning. Luckily, I grind my own now, and, well, usually there's some. When I need it, when I really want it. I don't have it every day. I don't know. Drink a bunch of different stuff. Oh, look. Hey, look. I'm drinking something now. Guess I shouldn't.
News and brews?
Yeah, but that's not a brew. That's a news and stills, or still news. Still news. Hey, that would be a great show name. Still news. Anyway, focus, grasshopper. So Ed Pilkington over at theguardian.com, the Fighting Guardians, put this article together. Krispy Kreme is struggling to meet online orders of its donuts. There's so many different ways to spell donuts. After a cybersecurity attack.
This is the only proper way to spell it.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it's Krispy Kreme donuts spelled out. They would save so much money if they just put DO in UTS. And they could put it right there. Loop. You know, it's like Federal Express.
Yeah, except that's an abbreviation. This would be like it's just a wrong spelling of the word.
All right. All right. Wow. Spell checker. Big old nope stamp. So this is weird. It says after a cybersecurity attack. It's a cyber attack, not a cybersecurity attack.
Right. They weren't, if,
They
well,
weren't
if they
secure.
were attacking the security, then maybe the security would attack back or something or defend.
So it apparently
That's weird.
continues. This though is yesterday's episode. Not this is we're in a time machine, so it's today, but it may not be going still on the 12th. When we get out of the time machine, we'll be back in the 12th. I don't know. So there's apparently there was a cyber attack that disrupted the company's operations almost 2 weeks after it was noticed. The donut maker said on Wednesday that it became aware of unauthorized activity on a portion of its computer systems on 29 November in a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission because it has the potential to fundamentally impact the bottom line of the securities involved with the Krispy Kreme Corporation. They have to disclose any out of band security violations, and all are. But when it rises to a certain level within a certain size company, you have to disclose it.
By the way, I can't find any updates. Like all the news were from yesterday.
Gotcha. So they basically said that they launched an investigation designed to contain and remediate the incident, but added that the operational disruptions were continuing. Online ordering of Krispy Kreme donuts has been hit especially hard in parts of the U.S. The company stressed that in-person sales and deliveries to its partners, including McDonald's, through which it's expanding its outlets nationwide, have not been affected. So they got somewhere around 16% of their Krispy Kreme sales coming from online. The chain, which has more than 1,500 shops and employs more than 20,000 people globally, said that it did not expect any long-term impact from the breach. They don't even know what the hell it is yet, apparently, but
Exactly.
they're still
Maybe you want to
ongoing.
just order at the window.
Yeah. See, my problem is if they hit the point of sale system, then it turns into a Target like Home Depot like breach where every transaction has been compromised.
Right, but they only sell hammers.
These are only donuts. Moving on. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A woman's voice keeps being mistaken for household devices. Quote, I am not Alexa. I threw in that I'm not a cat because that one person where the kid used their computer and the Zoom call forced them to look
Oh,
like a
right, where they
cat.
had like a filter or something.
Yeah, and they were too doofy to understand how to remove the filter. Yeah. So Kristen DiMercurio, who's been dubbed the Bluetooth lady, says that her voice can be heard on devices worldwide. So Melissa Fleur Afshar put this article together for Newsweek.com. And it says DiMercurio, who is based in Los Angeles, California, took to TikTok under the at K DeMerc on October 7th to clarify her role as a voice actress for various Bluetooth devices, but not the well-known AI home helpers that people thought. Her lighthearted take on the misunderstanding has resonated with viewers online, sparking widespread amusement and curiosity about the little-known world of voice acting. Little known, it used to be like gangbusters. I used to be on a voice acting site, but it had such a massive influx of potentials that I never got a gig from it. And I have dulcet tones. I mean, the things that I have been able to accomplish with my angelic voice. I mean, anyway, I'm kidding. I didn't get anywhere. And I don't get anywhere. In fact, I was in a meeting for an hour before doing the first Time Machine episode, and my voice basically fell on deaf ears. So they say here, a ton of you think that they're, oh, I can't say the name because it'll activate the Apple speaker bot thing. But they're flattered, and that was recorded in 2005. I don't know if it's just done, though. Don't they augment periodically? I don't know. A lot of you think that
I'm
they're the
not
voice
sure
of...
about that because we saw something about that where the person, I don't know, they were recorded, but I don't know if they continue to record.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe. So they think that they're the voice of Google. Nope, the original voice of Google was Lori Burke. And the last person that you think of is Alexa, and they're not Alexa. So the voice of Alexa was a woman named Nina Roll. They started taking voice acting seriously in 2015 and in 2020, voicing prompts for our Internet of Things companies. DiMercurio, who is the recipient of an Audie Award, told Newsweek that their voice can now be heard on devices worldwide. With over 2.8 million likes, her TikTok post has only ignited more questions from viewers online who are keen to find out exactly which common devices she has voiced. Third viewer
That must
said,
be weird that everywhere she goes, she must be like, either they don't think it's a real person or why am I talking to fill in the blank home assistant?
yeah, exactly. The picture on the left-hand side is really throwing me for a loop because it's a confusing perspective. But that right
It's
there,
really bad. There's something, yeah,
it's a sound deadening panel
but
right
it's really bad with the picture because it makes it look like there's a dent
in her
in the
head.
picture.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that threw me for a loop. Every time I looked at it, I'm like, there's something really odd about this picture. But they're in a sound booth. That all of this is sound paneling back here. But it's like that, like regular old foam style stuff. But I guess she knows what she's doing. I've tried this stuff in the past, and it does not work as well as like professional. Like I have sound panels here in the studio to make it stop sounding cavernous when I'm away from the mic. Otherwise, you have to get right up close and talk like this. Oh, what? Why is there a whole bunch of people playing golf now in my studio? Good times.
Good outside.
Good times. I really like knitting, long walks on the beach. My favorite color is clear. Anyway, they say that as fun as she is finding her newfound TikTok fame, voice acting remains DiMercurio's focus. Her move from New York to California has also been seen her able to expand her on-camera work now. While she is, as of now, known to many as the Bluetooth lady, I thought we removed the whole gender thing, genderizing of actor. It's just actor, not actress, right?
Right.
Yeah. The actor is keen to get back on stage soon. So, anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think we'd pretty much gotten away from that.
Yeah, it's just actor. There's no gender in actor. Anyway, let's keep moving. This is pretty cool. I would love to do voice acting, but it's kind of like modeling. The moment that you turn down a modeling gig, they will not call your ass back because they'll do a cattle call and have everybody show up and they'll replace you. They'll have 15 people just, I'm ready. I'm hungry, chomping at the bit. Let's go. Moving on. So the next article is over on the Mobile channel. Cat videos and wild. Is it carousels or caracals? Is it caracals?
I think you say it with a soft C.
That second one, right? Carousels. I think it's carousels. Anyway, how the internet's viral trends can help conservation. I agree. I think that this is great. But the only problem is that it's really, you have to have a cute animal. Otherwise, people are like, burn it. Nuke it from orbit, drop an asteroid on it, whatever it might be. But there's always somebody that really loves whatever it is. I was in another meeting earlier today, and do you remember that um, Mariana Trench critter that I said was Cthulhu?
Yes, and by the way, I think it's a hard C sound.
So it is Caracal,
So don't work on my pronunciation for anything in Ohmtown.
George. So the that critter that we talked about day before yesterday.
Yes.
So that little creature from the deep presented itself in a meeting earlier today where somebody said, "Oh my God, this thing is disgusting," and I said, "Oh yeah, I had to talk about this thing the other day," and 50% of us said that it was cute and neat, and 50% of us said, "Nuke it from orbit, burn the whole house down, get rid of it." Yeah. So, have you recently opened YouTube or TikTok and immediately gone looking for cat videos? If your answer is yes, then you're not alone. The global consumption of cat-related media online is massive. In 2015, there were over 2 million cat videos on YouTube alone, with an average of 12,000 views each. So, you know what I need to do? I need to have a cat walking around somewhere.
Well, absolutely. It's good when the cat makes an appearance.
Okay, so I'm going. No, I can't do what I was about to do. A higher average than any other category of YouTube content. All you need is a cat, and you'll be famous. Cat famous.
That's right.
So the article, I do not have ad block software. The phys.org site is host to Gabriella Lighton and Laurel Series. Don't say anything. Sorry, I have smart speakers here in the studio, and I came dangerously close to this person's.
Activated them.
Yeah. Anyway, it's over at The Conversation, which is a separate podcast and website, theconversation.com. So they say cats is also one of the most searched keywords on the internet. As of 2023, there were 502 billion views of TikToks with the hashtag cat. Clearly, domestic cats are the darlings of the digital world. I have said countless times that it powers the internet. But how can this popularity be leveraged to help conserve their wild cousins? Many small wild cat species like caracals face threats from widespread habitat loss, poaching, and conflict with people, but they are highly cryptic and therefore understudied. Plus, they're wild animals, and they're not in the. There's not so many of them that it's easy. So to find them, they just kind of. What's the word? They're mercurial, right? So you never know when they're going to show up and be friendly, or if they're going to race away.
They're definitely unpredictable.
Yeah. So ecologists have assessed popular search words in Google Trends to monitor the spread of invasive plant species and scraped Google Images to track changes in animal color morphs across ranges. The social media is increasingly used as a tool for ecology and conservation. For example, Facebook has been used to improve species distribution information, which can inform local conservation efforts, while Instagram has been used to track public perceptions of species in natural spaces. This also happens in medicine. So, like when a breakout happens, search results are geographically tagged. So things like Department of CDC can actually monitor where an outbreak might be happening based on a couple of inputs, namely search results. And then on the other side of things, I'll just say it that way, they also track how much biological elements end up, I'll just say it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, in the wastewater is what the sentient AI from the future said. We both are tracking quiet and then we ramp up, but I don't know what's going on there. At any rate, so they set out to fill in this knowledge gap in a recent paper about caracals in Cape Town, South Africa. The caracal is a highly adaptable, medium-sized wildcat with long tufted ears and a reputation for eating sheep in rural areas across southern Africa. That's medium-sized wildcat.
I didn't know they went after sheep either.
So in Cape Town, caracals have adapted to living along the edges of urban areas. They hunt small rodents and birds that are common in the well-watered, resource-rich spaces. There are about 60 individuals in the broader Cape Peninsula population. See how I said it's hard to track them? There's only
Yeah,
60.
and that's a really low number.
However, they, like many other wildcat species, face a number of threats, including habitat loss, exposure to common rat poisons, and being hit by vehicles. So they started a project, the Urban Caracal Project, as a postdoctoral Dr. Laurel Surias. There we go. So the project, hosted by the Institute for Communities and Wildlife in Africa, or IC Wild, in the University of Cape Town, was initiated to understand the animal's urban ecology, health, and genetic status and threats to the population. The whole gist of this article, though, is basically to state that social media amplifies the ability for people to know, understand, find out about, etc., and care about certain animals. I don't know if all animals fall under this. I would actually be interested in the sociological aspect of this beyond what they have done. But they say, for instance, they found that the search interest in the term caracal has almost doubled since the project was founded, with a 91% increase in interest on Google Trends. This is comparable to a similar wildcat, the serval, for which search interest rose by 76% in the same interest. And I can almost guarantee you the origin of that rise is because of savanna cats.
Absolutely. But I think all of these things are good for these populations.
Yep.
As long as people realize that they need to be treated like wild animals, right? And don't, because there are problems the other way, like if they try to take them in as domestic.
So they actually talk about that aspect that I was talking about, where I said, you kind of have to have a pretty animal, otherwise people are going to kind of blast back, right? So they analyzed the language used in sightings. The species is persecuted elsewhere in the country as vermin or a pest animal, so this is quite a shift. They basically said that they found that the people's sentiments about Cape Town's caracals were remarkably positive. So some of the most common words used to describe caracals were beautiful, amazing, gorgeous. Interestingly, the most common negative word was sad, which was mostly used on posts announcing caracal deaths or threats to the population, such as vehicle collisions or exposure to pollutants and disease. This reveals strong emotional responses from our followers and suggests increased care for the species. But yeah, I mean, if this thing had tentacles, people wouldn't be interested in saving it. And I think that's a problem with society as a whole, that
it is.
We tend to appreciate pretty things. And we try to kind of, those of us who really like something like rats, I would probably say it's 80-20, right? So 80% of the population is against rats and 20% really appreciate them and find them cute or cuddly or whatever. They're extremely intelligent. And there are people out there that kind of fight the good fight to try and change the perception of what a rat is. But again, if it were, I don't know. For me, it's really hard to find something that's really like nuke it from orbit, but that I always joke about it.
I know, wasps.
Oh, wasp can go to hell. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like, it seems like any animal can be appreciated. But there are some that obviously people are more drawn to, right? If they appear cute or photogenic or whatever.
Yep. And that's certainly a photogenic cat right there. I love these. So this is a caracal. It's actually really close to a serval. It with the really big ears, tiny head, that kind of a thing. But
It looks like
Savannah
it has
cats.
wilder ears than a serval, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it has the really big tufts coming off. Servals don't. They have tiny little ones, but they're awesome. Anyway, and they have black noses. This one has a pink nose. At any rate, it says our research shows, and it's their research, not our research. Their research shows that the hard work and efforts of continuous science communication on research projects through social media channels pays off. It can successfully aid robust research and raise conservation awareness for underrepresented species in rapidly changing landscapes. And I agree. I mean, it's really about how you kind of build a rapport between people who are curious and these various animals and other critters. Like I joked about that Cthulhu-looking critter from the Mariana Trench.
Which was cool looking.
Yeah, I really did. I thought it was cool, but most people are probably like, "Get that thing out of here." But
It's going to be one thing if it's swimming at you.
wasps can kiss my shiny metal ass. I would not miss them if Thanos snapped them out of existence. Mainly that's because for whatever reason, they go towards the light and then down into my shower. And I'm naked in a shower. I'm not a never nude. And I am compromised. And you can't aggressively solve the wasp problem in your shower when you're naked and wet.
That is quite the problem.
Moving on. And not just moving on, but moving on over to my therapist to talk about this problem. Anyway, so this next article is over in Hatch Ideas, which is a business transformation show. Dozens being investigated over post office scandal. Criminal trials aren't expected until 2027, almost 30 years after concerns were first raised. Are you telling me this is the culmination now?
Yes, I mean, it's way overdue, but this is still really good news.
They're actually prosecuting this.
Yes, it's unbelievable. It's been like at least a year since we initially reported this.
So Ben King over at BBC.com. Why do I know that name? It's a really well name. It has to be a different Ben King. Anyway,
there's a singer named Ben King.
Maybe that's what I know. So police are investigating possible crimes by post office and Fujitsu employees. Oh my God, it really is. Only 3, though.
That's why this was submitted, though. I haven't read it, but when I
Dude.
saw the headline, it had to be submitted because we've been talking about this a lot.
Oh my God. They're investigating possible crimes by post office and Fujitsu employees and external lawyers following the wrongful prosecution of hundreds, 900 people, by the way, of sub postmasters after faulty Horizon software said money was missing from their post office branch accounts. 3 suspects have already been interviewed under caution, and there are plans to interview others next year, according to police. But no one will be charged until officers have read the final report from the separate public inquiry almost 30 years after concerns were first raised. They were very aware of the problem with this software, and they still let it, and as far as I know, they still have it in operation.
I'm not sure about that.
So taking its toll is the next section of this article. I won't be able to go through this whole thing. So I encourage you, readers, listeners, etc., to go into the show notes.
Archives.
Well, no, that too. I mean, but into the show notes for this article or for this show, and click on the link to take you to this BBC article so that you can get the full understanding of just what went down.
I thought you meant go back and watch all the old episodes.
You could do that too. Just do a search and you'll find it. So Lee Castleton, a sub postmaster from Bridlington, I guess, near Hull, who was bankrupted in 2004 after losing a 2-year battle with the post office over Horizon, said, "I can't understand why it's taken so long. I can't understand why things are having to be gone over and over and over. But, never give in. We'll get there." 20 years ago, this person went bankrupt.
Well, read the next person.
Right. Yeah. So we know of others people who have left the country to save themselves from prosecution. This person, a former sub-post mistress, all right, Seema Misra, was wrongfully found guilty of theft and false accounting in 2010 and sent to prison while 8 weeks pregnant. There is no money available.
That's what I mean. I mean, the bankruptcy is obviously horrendous, but this there's just more and more and more of these. Like each story is just unbelievable.
She welcomed the update on the criminal investigation as a step forward, adding that at least things are going in the right direction now, hopefully. She said that she had already been a long wait for her and other victims of the scandal, which she described as having taken its toll. Did we expect it to take this long? No, we wanted it to be done sooner rather than later. That's like no shit news. Some 100 officers from around England and Wales are now working on what they've called Operation Olympos. All right, which began in 2020. We started talking about this in like 2022.
Right. I think it started getting reported internationally then.
Yeah. So the investigation will be led by the Metropolitan Police in London, while Police Scotland and Police Service in Northern Ireland and National Crime Agency is also involved. Okay, so they say we have got, we think, over 3,000 people affected in some way by Horizon.
Wow, we knew about, I think, 900, but
900
I think that was the number of people imprisoned.
prosecuted.
So this could be either lesser penalties or family member, or just other people somehow tied to this.
If this company walks, if this company skates by because it's either been so long or because they're not from the UK or from the EU, I don't know what to say. 3,000
This is
people.
going in the right direction. Two phases. One is the decision makers on the investigations and the prosecutions, which will be interesting because that'll be some of the attorneys and maybe judges in the system, depending on. But then they're also going to look at senior executives, which is good.
The second phase will cast a wider net, potentially taking in senior post office executives. But I think that Fujitsu should also be held accountable. Because they had to have known. And it was for the officers are already working with 1.5 million documents in the case and expect this number to grow. Unbelievable.
Well, this is a step in the right direction. It is way too long for this to have occurred.
Yep. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News as well. We can watch as a Long Island man's home it becomes an homage to Christmas Vacation. Jason Orsini maintains he is a real-life Clark Griswold, which I probably wouldn't.
I'm not sure you want to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, anyway, with his tribute to the holiday film, complete with 25,000 lights, 20 mannequins, and even Uncle Eddie's RV and the family station wagon.
Oh, I bet the neighbors really love this.
Let me see if I'm going to mute. Yeah, I'll let it go, but I'll mute it. So there is a video of basically the whole Clark Griswold
like the whole
home
movie, right?
and Eddie and holding a beer and lights everywhere. Yeah, even oh wow, it looks like it might be the actual. Right,
we've got like the family station wagon into the Christmas tree. I mean, it's like multiple scenes all in one yard.
Oh yeah, it's the whole movie all in one yard. The lights and everything. Jeepers creepers.
Right, him hanging from the roof line trying to put up the lights.
Yep. It's pretty neat. So if you want to listen to it and you want to watch it, then go over to the link that's in the show notes and or in the chat. So all you have to do is click on the link and it'll take you over there. Let's keep going.
I hope the lights go on and off. Like when they're trying to figure out the story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is synced to something, but probably that song. So The next article is over in the Marble Channel, and the Italian town that becomes a giant goose-themed board game each fall, with teams competing in outlandish physical challenges. The Zogo dell'Oca of Murano showcases Italy's flair for invented traditions. In yet
Not to
another
be
meeting,
confused with Murano, another area in Italy.
this is dell'Oca of Murano. Is that different?
The other Murano has a U instead of an I.
Oh, Murano. Okay. So I didn't know if I pronounced something incorrect. So John Last over at Smithsonian Magazine, smithsonianmag.com, put the article together. It says, the Italian town that becomes a giant goose-themed board game each fall. I guess they've got a bunch of teams. Some of them are apparently strapped together by, I don't know.
Like
What are they
blankets
doing
or
here?
something. They're doing almost like a three-legged race, but it's not.
It's like 12 people.
Yeah.
No, it looks like, actually, it looks like, are they all together in that red ribbon?
It looks like there's groups, but
Maybe
can't
not.
tell.
Right. Yeah. It looks like there's about 6 people all grouped together. So on the weekend with, they say here, when Catholics celebrate St. Martin's Day, the beginning of the reveling season of winter, Murano's, it's Mirano, Murano's central square is completely transformed into a giant 16th century board game. Visitors pour in from all over the region to cheer on teams of young players in striped jerseys as they compete in a series of bizarre and outlandish challenges. All are, inexplicably, dressed in 19th century clothing, from the children crowding the entry gate to the old men who act as referees. Oh, God. Oh, it
Is
is
that a
an.
referee?
It actually is a board game. It looks like a Monopoly board.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So, amid surging lines of patrons awaiting goose ravioli and risotto at this year's event, they find Roberto Gallerini, the head of the Pro Loco Murano, a volunteer association for the promotion of Murano and its businesses. And there's pictures and whatnot here that you can come and check out. They have agnolotti shaped like a goose that they hand out. It's kind of interesting. It says in Murano, geese historically had an extra special significance. The town is just a short drive inland from Venice, in the countryside where many of the city's wealthy families kept their summer homes and villas. And for much of the history, Gallerini explained, the diverse region had become home to a large number of Jewish and Muslim families, while Italy's Catholics were content to feast on pork, prosciutto, and sausages and salami through the winter. Jews and Muslims raised geese for the same purpose. So much so that the goose became inextricably linked to Italy's Jewish cuisine. In fact, one count from 1830 identified 1,580 geese in Venice's Jewish ghetto alone. Practically one goose for every Jew residing in the city at the time, says historian Donatella Calabi. Interesting. All
I
this
didn't
food
know
just
there
makes me
was any
hungry.
association between Italy and geese.
Yeah, well, now you know. And there's a lot more in this article, and by a lot more, I mean several pages more. There's a
Okay.
pole climbing.
Yeah, you go up it, but it looks like then they come down upside down or something.
I
Or
think you
maybe they
actually,
go up upside down.
I think you go up upside down. So acrobats shuffle themselves up a 50-foot pole to grab bags while playing orders suspended high above the square. While playing orders?
With,
Oh, with playing orders? Bags with playing orders?
which still doesn't make any sense,
Yeah,
but
that doesn't help. So come and check out this article. I think that it's pretty neat. Yeah, they say that the Goose Game has its origins in the 16th century board game once played at the court of Medici and famously gifted to Spain's King Philip II, one of the world's first race games, according to a board game historian, Adrian Seville. It plays out much like a game of snakes and ladders. Spaces represent the steps in catching, slaughtering, and preparing a goose for the festive table. and pitfalls like a jail, a tavern, or death could lose a player a turn or two or return them to the start. And its 63 squares supposedly represent 9 7-year periods in a person's life, a nod to the esoteric philosophy of Marsilio Ficino, a philosopher and Catholic priest of the early Italian Renaissance who believed that people experience some change in their body or mind, or both, every 7 years, which actually has now been scientifically demonstrated as 2 major periods, one around the age 40 and one around the age 60, right? Or 57?
44 and 60.
44 and 60, yeah. Kind of neat. I mean, there was an idea there, but...
Right, pretty smart.
Smart. All right, well, there's the board for you. It looks kind of like a Monopoly board in its perimeter, but it apparently acts more like Chutes and Ladders.
But it's really cool to see this like town-sized board game. I mean, that's very unusual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, for here in America, it's unusual to have anything this spacious without putting a building on it.
Right. Why would you have this much open space?
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Late Night Geeks. Pentagon says mystery drones over New Jersey are not U.S. military and not likely foreign, and we don't know what the frick is going on.
How do we not know what these are? I mean, these are not these little blips on somebody's old camera and it's all fuzzy and shaky. These are large size in, I think, in pretty good what's the word, like visibility or whatever. Yeah. How have we not figured these out?
I know, aliens. So it's a Pentagon briefing that this comes from. What's always astonished me about these disclosures is that why in the world would the federal government want to sit there and say we don't know shit?
Well, and also, why would they be interested in these either? Like, I mean, this gives it some validity, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So TechCrunch.com. See, you can't say it doesn't exist anymore because it's no longer fuzzy pictures from a distance. So Sarah Perez over at TechCrunch.com put the article together. The FBI told lawmakers during Tuesday's hearing that it's working with state and local authorities to investigate the situation and had received north of 3,000 reports of sightings from the public. However, it didn't know yet who was responsible. Of note, a senior FBI official revealed that the organization's budget for counter-drone activity was only around $500,000.
That's for an entire agency.
Is that the grab, though? No, well, it's for the organization's counter-drone activity.
Right, but they're probably like exceeding it with this one incident. Like they're going to have to ramp up that budget based on this.
What I don't get is why isn't there some hobbyist out there going, let's just follow the damn drone back?
Well, exactly. Like, why are they? There's got to be. I mean, right? We know that people like to do things that are perhaps aren't always the brightest, but
yeah, just follow it back. So at this time, we have no
views on YouTube or whatever, right?
Yeah, just triangulate the damn thing. There's a lot of very, very bright and capable people out there. What the hell? So at this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign adversary, but you don't know what the hell it is. So why even state that? You have no idea.
We just don't know, period.
We know that it's not. See, I mean, I've had this conversation before in a different context, but if you don't know, then you say you don't know. Don't say, well, it's definitely that or definitely not that, because it's definitely not that. That's not how it works. Do you have evidence that it's from a foreign adversary? No. So you're basically saying you don't know if it's from a foreign adversary or not.
We don't know what the heck it is.
Right. You can't sit there and say there's no evidence. That makes you more of a boob, because it discounts the idea that this is from a foreign adversary. Oh, if it's from a foreign adversary, then we need more money to pursue this more aggressively. Well, we don't know if it is from a foreign adversary. Oh, okay, well, then you're cool with the $500,000 budget. And just leave it. Just wait until Joe down at the bait and tackle shop goes, hey, there's a drone above me. And then eventually you can triangulate it back because 3,000 freaking reports draw a line across New Jersey. It doesn't make any sense. Why aren't they being more aggressive about this? You know,
Well, this reminds me of the Chinese weather balloon, which of course was shot down.
eventually, but one of them tooted
Right,
across the
not
entire
quickly.
country.
Yeah.
So when asked if they could rule out whether these are American drones, she responded, "These are not U.S. military drones." She said, "Yeah, but you're also not disclaiming that it's a research-based drone. U.S. military drones has a very specific connotation."
Right, and also it could be some persons that's just smart and has built a large drone, right?
Singh also shot down a theory raised by a representative, Jefferson Van Drew, who claimed the drones were being launched by an Iranian mothership off the coast of the U.S. There is not any truth to that, and it would have sent flares off by being a foreign adversary. So why even pursue that?
And
There,
plus, a ship is kind of easy to locate typically.
it says she says there or they say that there is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States. What the hearing didn't reveal is who's behind the drones, because nobody knows who the frick is behind them. So I'm waiting for this to actually catch up to us, like so much drone. I mean, why? The other reports of like hundreds of them swarming around, it's mind-boggling. All right.
Well, and I think this is in kind of populated areas,
It
right?
is.
It's visible. It's
It
not like
is.
it's in some inaccessible place or not able to be viewed or whatever. I just don't know why we're not farther along with this.
Yep, I agree. Let's keep moving. The next three I'll probably rip through pretty quick here. Balatro Plus is Apple's arcade game of the year because, well, of course it is. I apparently suck at it, but I've seen other people just crush this game, but I'm horrible at it. So the year's end is quickly approaching, and that means that the best of 2024 lists are coming out. In fact, right now, in tomorrow's timeline, the Game Awards is just now starting. So it says here that the latest is Apple's App Store Awards, which highlight 17 apps across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, and Vision Pro. Sorry. The most notable winner here at Engadget is apparently Balatro Plus from Local Funk, which is a card game, a poker game.
Which is not what I would expect to be a game of the year, but I guess it's really taken off.
It has exploded from Steam into every other platform. It says Sarah Fielding here, or Fielding, over at Engadget.com put the article together, and the deck statement says we're all addicted to it here at Engadget. It's a simple concept. You get cards dealt out. You pick 5 cards in the hand, right? You can actually get up to 5 of a kind. There's various jokers with different specs. And these additional cards are like modifiers, and you can get all kinds of these cards put up here eventually. I can't complete
Yeah, but
anything.
do you have to pay to
Not
ramp
keep
up your
playing.
choices or something?
No,
No.
not with real money. It's in-game currency. But you don't spend any money beyond. Well, Balatro Plus is free with Apple Arcade. You just have to subscribe to Apple Arcade. And Balatro, the actual non-plus version, which I paid for because I wanted to see if there was a fundamental difference in the playability. And because I was getting my butt handed to me in Balatro Plus. So I'm like, are they making it just difficult to play because it's the free version? So I paid $10 for the regular version, and I suck at that too. So no, it's the same. I just suck at it, but I'm good at poker. I just suck at.
It might just be like luck. because it's probably all some algorithm.
There's some random number generation there, but yeah. So if you're the rare person out there who prefers physical game to the digital ones, a stance that they say that they can relate to, then you'll be happy to know that a $16 Balatro playing card deck is currently available for pre-order on Fangamer, which I've never heard of. I'll have to start following that site. However, it won't ship until March 2025, or so it might be worth first checking out the game digitally. Plus, it's a different thing. Like, you have to have all of these other cards. So I don't know I don't know how that is actually being made, because there's a lot of other cards, not just 52. It's not like a
Oh, okay,
deck.
right.
Um, so other games awarded in the Apple, I won't even go into that part of it. I mean, I'm really here just for Balatro. So what's really interesting about Balatro is the person who created it. If I remember right, didn't even know how to play poker. And it
Oh,
was,
right. I think we did see something about that, which is interesting because you'd think you'd have to know that to make a game based on it.
yeah. Um, and they just wanted to program something. It was an exercise in programming. And look at that, man. Millions, I'm sure. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, even with the Apple cut, right?
Yeah. Try it. You should try it. It's free with Apple Arcade, so give it a shot. All right. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in how California is trying to earthquake-proof a lake. State officials have begun work to protect communities near a reservoir in the event of a severe quake. So this
Are they
article
worried about a tsunami from the lake?
might be that it's going to just break, just split down the middle. I don't know where it is just yet. So Tom Howarth from Newsweek.com put the article together. It says this ambitious initiative, taking place about 60 miles east of Los Angeles, aims to protect local communities and vital infrastructure by enabling safe water redirection in case of a major earthquake or other emergencies. It's that lake right there, Lake Paris. The upgrades will allow water. Oh, yeah, Paris Lake. Holy cow, really? To be diverted safely away from Lake Paris through a series of levees and channels to the Paris Valley Channel. In the event of a severe earthquake or extreme weather. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that extreme weather part. Bring on the water.
Right, we need more of it.
Yeah. So without a program, Paris Dam would be less resilient to major earthquakes. David Sarkeesian, the manager of the Dam Safety Services and DWR's Division of Operations and Maintenance, told Newsweek that the Paris Dam was identified as a high-priority state-owned dam for seismic improvements due to its proximity to nearby earthquake faults and large downstream communities. DWR began the Paris Dam modernization program 20 years ago. Doesn't seem like they've been doing much.
Well, I hope no earthquakes have struck during that time. I mean, that's a long-term project.
Yeah, no earthquakes have hit in 20 years. Not California, it's seismically stable. Come on. So notably, the project says that it'll protect a school, Interstate 215, and a nearby water treatment plant. The recreation area of Paris Lake actually is 8,800 acres, incorporating the reservoir itself and surrounding landscape. So, pretty cool. $62 million. It's currently around 23 feet below its full level, according to the website Lakes Online. And there you go.
Interesting.
Let's go. Last article is over in the Wanted channel. Pokemon Company is teaming up with Wallace and Gromit Studio Aardman on a mystery project. I wonder if they're going to sue people for throwing their balls around. The Pokemon Company and stop motion studio
I
Pal
was
World.
thinking of Wallace and Gromit, not Pokemon, and I'm what? But it made sense.
So, yeah, they're working on a special project. They don't have too many details about the project, except that it'll allow Aardman to bring their unique style of storytelling to the Pokemon universe in a brand new adventure. That sounds like a TV show or movie, right? So we all know that a mystery project will be released in to the public in 2027. So they're a little bit jumping the gun. Who knows if it'll actually happen? So that's something to look forward to. The company said that more information will be shared in the near future.
Well, if it's anything like Wallace and Gromit or anything like Pokemon, it's probably going to be a hit.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We don't know what it is, but we do know it'll come out in 2027. Lawrence Bonk is the author of this article over at Engadget. And they have a claymation Pokeball.
That's perfect.
That's pretty cool. So Okiura isn't kidding. Aardman has been in the animation game since 1972 and is most famous for stuff like Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run. The company is a claymation and stop motion animation powerhouse. And remember the classic video for Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer? Sledgehammer, done. Sorry.
Uh-oh, you're going to get a notice.
Yeah, that right there. It's pretty cool. I'm going to hit play, but I'm going to mute it. Oh, I guess I'm not. Dag nabbit. Skip. Think I'm going to get in trouble for that?
Because of the audio? Yes.
Yeah. Guess we'll see. So that was Aardman. Nina Simone's My Baby Just Cares for Me is another. So the partnership tells the author one thing. Pokemon Company is still interested in stop motion animation after the success of Pokemon Concierge on Netflix. Season 2 of that show is currently in production and will likely drop well before 2027. At least it'll tide us over until we get our eyeballs on whatever Aardman is cooking up. Now I'm curious what Pokemon Concierge is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So there you go, folks. That's all 10 of our articles. So I'm going to fling my Pokeballs at you, and if I trap you, got to collect them all. I'm Mayor Watt saying bye, and the sentient AI will too right after we pop ourselves out of that Pokeball and end up on the front page. Ta-da!
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the December 11th Non Sequitur News.
Oh, time machine, you fickle beast. See y'all tomorrow?